We are here to consider possibilities for peace in war-torn Ukraine, especially in light of the aforementioned increasing volume of weapons arriving in that unhappy country. Every morning when I sit down at my laptop, I think of our brothers and sisters in Ukraine and elsewhere who, through no fault of their own, find themselves in dire and often deadly circumstances. Over there, in Ukraine, they may be soldiers facing another deadly day at the front, or they may be mothers or fathers facing the awful question, how can I feed my child today? Or they may be civilians, not knowing that today the lights will go out for sure, as they always do in war zones, knowing that there is no fresh water, that there is no fuel for the stove, no blanket, just barbed wire and watchtowers and walls and enmity. We the people wish to live. We wish to live in peace, in conditions of parity that give us the real opportunity to look after ourselves and our loved ones. Please help us. To help us, you may have to consider our predicament, and to do so, you may have to take your eye off the ball for a moment, to put your own goals momentarily to one side. What are your goals, by the way? And here maybe I direct my inquiries more to the 5 permanent members of this council. What are your goals? What is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Bigger profits for war industries, more power globally, a bigger share of the global cake. The voiceless majority is concerned that your wars, yes, your wars, for these perpetual wars are not of our choosing, that your wars will destroy the planet that is our home. And along with every other living thing, we will be sacrificed on the altar of 2 things: profits from the war to line the pockets of the very, very few, and the hegemonic march of some empire or other towards unipolar world domination. Please reassure us that that is not your vision, for there is no good outcome down that road. That road leads only to disaster. Everyone on that road has a red button in their briefcase. And the further we go down that road, the closer the itchy fingers get to that red button, and the closer we all get to Armageddon. So, back to Ukraine. The invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation was illegal. I condemn it in the strongest possible terms. Also, the Russian invasion of Ukraine was not unprovoked. So I also condemn the provocateurs in the strongest possible terms. There, that's got that out of the way. We the people want universal human rights for all our brothers and sisters all over the world, irrespective of their ethnicity, religion, or nationality. To be clear, that would include, but would not be limited to, the right to life and property under the law. For instance, for Ukrainians, and, for instance, Palestinians. Let that sink in. And obviously, for all the rest of us as well. One of the problems with wars is that in a war zone, or anywhere where the people live under military occupation, there is no recourse to the law. There are no human rights. Today, our brief is the possibility of peace in the Ukraine, with special reference to the arming of the Kiev regime by third parties. we are many who do not share in the profits of the war industry. We do not willingly raise our sons and daughters to provide fodder for your cannons. In our opinion, the only sensible course of action today is to call for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. No ifs, no buts, no ands. Not one more Ukrainian or Russian life is to be spent. Not one. They are all precious in our eyes. Enough is enough. We demand change. President Biden, President Putin, President Zelensky, USA, NATO, Russia, the EU, all of you, please change course now. Agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine today.
So I went and had the second and then it got really bad. And within about a week, I had lost, my hands didn't really work. I suffer from a condition already called peripheral neuropathy, which is nerve damage pain, really, which means that, I can get numb or pins and needles. This ramped up from, on a scale of 10, say, from 3 to 8 or 9, agony and chronic pain. It's there until I go to bed, and I take sleeping pills because I can't sleep because of the pain, and it's not a good way to live. But and it's not all due to the vaccine, but the vaccine took my immune system and just shook it around again, and that's still going on. So, and then I read, a lot of the evidence that I had been reading about with people that were having adverse reaction. That was on the list, was damage to the immune system.
Stand and deliver, but not a word you heard was true. And if there's nothing you can say, there may be nothing you can do. Do you want to be a free man, or do you want to be a slave? Do you want to be a free man, or do you want to be a slave? Do you want to wear these chains until you're lying in the grave? They're gonna grind us down until it really hurts. Is this a sovereign nation or just a police state?
It's been about 9 months since I got sick from the thing. And for a couple of months I didn't get the memo. Whatever the memo was, it hadn't reached me. Then I started to realize there was really a memo. And that guy, Matthias Desmet, talked about it. And it's great, the theory of mass hypnosis, formation, he calls it. And I could see it then. Once I kind of started to look for it, I saw it everywhere. And then I remembered seeing little things on YouTube, which were like subliminal advertising. That have been going on for a long time. That thing about you will own nothing and you will be happy. And it would, what does that mean? And bit by bit, I put a rough kind of jigsaw puzzle together, and that made me even more resolute. And so I went from that to looking at the news stuff that was coming out in England and the UK. We had BBC, and it used to be an impartial commentary on world affairs and state affairs, and suddenly it was completely one-way traffic about following orders and obedience, and I thought, well, I'm not going to. I don't stop watching TV, and now I'm going to. I felt really motivated musically. I felt like I could. It instigated something which had really was laying dormant. Then these guys that were in power really started to piss me and everybody. But I wasn't gonna. I had a tool. I have a calling, and I can make use of that. So I set about it and started writing. What's offending me now is that I'm being insulted by the media. I personally can't take this anymore. Where they're making in England they were using a lot of guilt and fear, and it was overwhelming.